Hello everyone, thank you for making the journey today in the rain. We appreciate you being here and sorry we're starting a little late in closed session. Alright, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 5:08 p.m. Roll call. Nancy? Present. Raquel? Present. Michael?
Here.
And I'm here. Eleanor is out sick today, so she is not present. So moving right along, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. If you guys can all stand, please. Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item C, public report of action taken in closed session. In closed session, the board took action to issue notice to release and reassign the following employee, ID number 200235, from their current position pursuant to Ed Code Section 44951, effective at the end of the 24-25 school year, and directed the superintendent to send out appropriate legal notices. Moving on to my favorite part, item 2D, we have student representatives. We're going to start with Oceanside High School student rep, Sienna Carlson.
Let's go Pirates! Good evening, Dr. Vitale, President Vegan, and esteemed board members. My name is Sienna Carlson, and I'm excited to serve as the ASB student representative for Oceanside High School and give you a glimpse of the energy and achievements and growth happening at our school. Next slide, please. Next. This year, we're excited to bring the story of Oceanside High's own Mr. Willie Buchanan to the stage, thanks to a collaborative project between the generational Black pioneers and the pirate players. For 3 years, we've been supporting these incredible performances, helping to bring Oceanside's history and heritage to life. This marks the beginning of a full collaboration between these two amazing groups, with hopes to make this an annual tradition. This year's show will feature 15 pirate players, including seniors Joshua Ramos and Joshua Carrillo, who will be playing the roles of Willie Buchanan and his friend Eddie Parks. Our NJROTC program had the honor of opening up for the San Diego Clippers, a tremendous opportunity to represent OHS in our community on a big stage. Students had the chance to attend the Future Educator Summit at Mesa College, where they explored future careers in education and connected with others passionate about shaping the future of learning. Congratulations to our Environmental Science Pathway students, honored at the San Diego Festival of Science and Engineering MVP Luncheon. With the help of Ms. Collis, they were recognized for their outstanding work in STEAM and sustainability, showcasing the amazing talent of our students in the CTE pathways. Seniors who complete their FAFSA are entered into a raffle for exciting prizes, turning a graduation requirement into a fun and rewarding activity. Next slide. Valentine's Spirit Week at OHS. Before heading into a well-deserved break in February, love was truly in the air at OHS. ASB and PALS created a fun, engaging activity throughout Valentine's, or as we like to call it, Palentine's Week, a spirit week to celebrate school pride. The Heart of a Pirate Hallway, featuring the names of every OHS student, a Palentine's advisory activity encouraging students to show appreciation for our staff, and our Careers in Education students planned a fun friendship fair on Valentine's Day, to inviting their friends from the E-building for a fun lunch to show support for one another. Next slide. Please help me in congratulating our Pirates of the Month, chosen for their academic and behavioral excellence. Braden Hanley, grade 9, Diana Garcia, grade 10, Drew Jackson, grade 11, and Ashley Carrillo Sinceros, grade 12. As well, we'd like to recognize some of our staff members, our bountiful pirate, Jory Goldberg, and our proud pirate, Greg McMahon. Next slide. Our Soundwave show choir competed at Burbank last and earned an impressive 3rd place overall and 2nd place in music. They debuted lifted high seas at Hart High School last weekend. Great job, Pirates, for all their hard work and dedication. Big shout out to our first year's girl rugby team who made history by winning the SCYR championship and finishing the season undefeated. What an incredible achievement. Next slide. This week we're hosting our annual New Pirate Day and Night, where 8th graders from across OUSD will have the opportunity to explore all the amazing programs OHS has to offer and see what it means to be a pirate. CAS testing is just around the corner. Students and staff are preparing for an adjusted schedule to ensure everything runs smoothly. And finally, the part that I'm most excited for, we're getting ready for a spring dance in April. The theme will be Garden Party, and it's a fun and fresh way to celebrate the season before heading into the final events of the year. Last slide. Thank you so much and have a good night.
From El Camino High School, Urbicelli Marino Chavez.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to Board President Dr. McGinn and the rest of the board members, Chief Superintendent Dr. Vitale, and all who are present this evening for giving me the time to speak. My name is Araceli Merino Chavez, and I'm the ASB President and Student Representative from El Camino High School. February's rising star was Leslie, who overcame freshman year anxiety that impacted her academics and well-being. With mental health support and hard work, she retook classes and is now on track to graduate. She plans to attend Mira Costa College in the fall and later pursue law school. Students transform discarded books into original 3D dimension scenes of their choice. Here are the pictured 3D dimensions. Take a look at how amazing these are. Four of our very own EC music students were selected for the 78 honor band performing with the top North County musicians. In just 2 days, they prepared a concert under renowned conductors. Congrats to their musical excellence. Our incoming freshman night was a huge success. The energy was high as students and families learned about the amazing opportunities waiting for them next year here in Wildcat Country. From engaging club and sports showcases to student and CTE presentations, the event was the perfect way to introduce ECHS to the soon-to-be 9th graders. ASB keeps students engaged with fun lunchtime activities. This time, students tested their pattern recognition skills by guessing a hidden item arranged, added by hints given by their partners. And their picture is what that event looked like. Thanks, ASB, for so much fun. Our varsity tennis team had a stellar performance at the 20th annual Pete Brown First Serve Tennis Tournament. Their hard work, dedication, and teamwork were on full display, and they represented our school with pride and sportsmanship. Congratulations on an outstanding effort. A final congratulations to our HSSA Outstanding Scholar athletes, Sophie Dowie, a top 5 tennis player, and Wesley Shupak, a top 5 swimmer and water polo star. This concludes my presentation for tonight. Thank you all for your attention and time. Have a great evening and go Wildcats!
And last but not least, Surfside, David Sanfilippo.
Good evening, Board President McGinn, members of the board, and Superintendent Dr. Vitale. My name is David Zabrov. You may recognize me from recent OUSD student spotlight. As I'm finishing up my time at Surfside Academy, I've been completing my digital video associates from Palomar, and next year I'm aiming to finish my film, television, and electronics media associates for transfer. I'm super excited to be here. Let's begin. Next slide. Congratulations to To our March rising star, Anthony Osuna, despite several heartbreaking hardships in his life, Anthony has managed to thrive, and he contributes his success to the caring and supportive environment at Surfside. After graduation, Anthony plans on attending Maricosta College to pursue an associate's in automotive technology. Next slide. We are excited to officially announce that Surfside High has been named a 2025 Model Continuation High School by the California Department of Education. After about 5 months of writing, a visit from the Model Schools Committee, and an interview of 6 panels, teachers, classified staff, students, parents, district leadership, and community partners, we achieved a significant step. This prestigious recognition demonstrates Surfside's commitment to providing at-risk students with innovative academic programs. Only 2 schools in all of San Diego County and only 74 throughout the entire state of California have earned this outstanding recognition. We would also like to congratulate our principal, Mr. Branston, for doing an outstanding job. Congratulations to Leah Sherman, our instructional aide who works on the Surfside Academy side, our independent study program. Leah received the Classified Employee Teacher Recruitment Grant, which supplies $3,500 per year to earn her teaching credential. The Sharks from Stop way out. Alright, next slide. Surfside students have been getting the job done and taking control of their futures, whether it's attending trade school to become electricians, doing a plumbing apprenticeship, becoming a firefighter, an EMT, going to community college, joining the military, or even starting their own business like mobile detailing. Our graduates are flourishing. Congratulations to them all. Next slide. Students from grades 8, 9, and 10 enjoyed an engaging field trip to the Linda Vista Innovation Center in San Diego. The students came back from their coding lab experience, thrilled and interested in learning more. Thank you, OUSD. Slide. Surfside students are fortunate to have the Hospitality Management Certificate Program. This quarter, students went on a field trip toward downtown Oceanside and the Oceanside Welcome Center to learn more about tourism and our local community. Next slide. Scholarship season is in full swing, with students seizing opportunities from local community partners. Surfside students have taken the ASVAB and are completing the FAFSA and CADA forms. They also attended Maricosta's Lunch and Learn series to explore 4th quarter and summer dual enrollment options. Additionally, students toured Palomar College to explore dental and trade programs. Next slide. Finally, we had an intense final basketball tournament close to the season. The Sharks won games on day 1, then lost in a close game at the end of an overtime in day 2. We are so excited for flag football season to start. We have a great team led by the amazing Coach Donald. We look forward to reporting on that in the near future. Thank you for listening and have a fantastic evening.
All right, item 2E, approval agenda. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a second? First and second. Any questions, issues? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye. Motion carries. Moving on to item 3, reports. I'll turn it over to Dr. Vitale for the superintendent's report.
Yes, I have several reports to share. I'll just continue all of the wonderful news that our students shared and the accomplishments of students and staff. And I'll start with Surfside High School being named a 2025 Model Continuation High School by State Superintendent Tony Thurman. The priority of Model Continuation High Schools is to give students more than a diploma. The teachers and administrators aim to provide students with a student-centered approach that meets their diverse academic, social, and emotional needs and opportunities to explore options beyond high school, preparing students for the future, whether they choose to pursue further education or join the workforce. Eric, you and your staff absolutely have earned this, and we're so very proud of you, so congratulations. I also want to congratulate Ann Gibbons. Ann Gibbons was selected as the Confidential Administrative Staff Member of the Year by the San Diego County School Boards Award for their leadership in starting the TWBI program here in Oceanside Unified during the 24th Annual Leadership of Biliteracy Symposium. Congratulations. And I also want to congratulate Maria Alshama, selected as the 2025 Outstanding School Social Worker from the County Office of Education. She out there? Stand up! Come on! With that, I turn it back over to you for you to share good news.
All right, well, I'm gonna look over. Nancy, you wanna go first, your board report?
Yes, thank you. This month I attended the LCAP committee meeting where we meet once a month to discuss matters and make recommendations to the board. And right now we have been spending a lot of time looking at the staff surveys, the parent surveys, and we're going through what the feedback is so that we can make recommendations. And I love going to these meetings because we have a representation from students this year. We have certificated staff, we have classified staff, and we also have administration all working together to make those recommendations.
Thank you. Mike?
Give a report to Ann.
Raquel?
I just want to say, go gear up, because last month I was not here for the meeting, and we just went to visit colleges, and had not Gear Up been in the process to help us to understand everything that goes on in doing that whole process, there is no way I would have survived 2.5 weeks with my kid in the car. But everything that happens, it's in the village. And I appreciate everyone in the school district, because my kid has started here and he's finishing here. And the work that has gone into him, and the push and the drive and everything that has gone to be able to get to this point where we're now at 13 schools to choose from. And so, and they're not just little schools, it's like some major schools, and I am so proud of y'all, because it's not just me, it's all of us, it's all of you all, and who have had them in your classroom, or Tiffany. And, so it's amazing to see all the community come together between TC, between Gear between our teachers, our staff, everybody. It's everybody from the custodians that worked with them and sat with them and talked with them, to the lunch people, to his teachers, to everybody. So thank you, everyone, for doing that, not only with mine, but with all of our kids. You guys are amazing, 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 amazing. And please continue to do everything that you're doing, because again, it's this village that we have built over time and over years. And yeah, there's been struggles and there's been everything else that goes with it, but you guys can, I can see the full the light at the end of the tunnel for this kid right here, because you all that know him know that it's not been an easy thing to get through. So I appreciate you all and thank you. So just know that everything that you all have done has been just so worth it. So thank you.
Thanks for sharing. I wanted to share, I had the opportunity to work with Jenny Morgan and meet with our National Board Certified Teacher candidates, and we have over 25 of them, and they're working on submitting in May, and the district is really focused on helping educators that want to go through this process. So I'm excited to see what happens next year, and if we have more people that want to jump on board. I also want to give a shout out to El Camino High School. They had their 45th annual music festival last weekend. I went to it, my son's plays 4 instruments, but anyways, he was playing the cello this time. And they hosted over 58 ensembles from all over Southern California. So it is a really big event. The band boosters raised money, baked potatoes. It was just such a teamwork effort there. And watching these students come from other school districts, come in, perform, get judged, get all the feedback they need so they can improve, it was great. So I hope they continue that for next year. And that's all the good news I have. Right, moving on, item 3C, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Vitale to conduct the election for the CSBA Region 17.
So
So board, this is for you to vote on the official delegate assembly ballot for Region 17. As you know, board member Evans serves on the board of directors, and she made sure to share her recommendations so that I can share them with you. And then you just need to make a motion and take a vote. So she recommends Barbara Avalos, Jane Lee Smith, Elva Lopez, Zenaida Rosario, Barbara Ryan, and Cipriano Vargas. The other candidates are Reno Morocco, Susan Martin, and Bob Weller. So we need a motion and a vote.
I'll move approval of the list you read out as recommended by Eleanor.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0 for Barbara Avalos, Jane Lee Smith, Elva Lopez, Zenaida Rosario, Barbara Ryan, and Cipriano Vargas. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 3D, our report from the California School Employees Association, Oceanside Chapter 370. Chuck Joy, come on up here.
Hello, be kind of short. We're still working on our plan project with the district. There's 21 of us still in meetings. They're going good. The meeting themselves work out fine and everything. There's still some snags in our district that we're trying to work through, and I bring them to the appropriate person to work through. Sometime in the near future, we need to work on equity in paying for our classified people. That's all I'll say for now. Thank you.
Item 3E, Oceanside Teachers Association, President Tiffany.
Good evening, President Begin, trustees, Dr. Vitale, cabinet colleagues, and community members. It's nice to see almost a full house. Tonight I stand before you not just as an advocate for public education, but as someone deeply concerned about the deliberate and dangerous attacks on our schools, our students, and the very foundation of democracy itself. The Trump administration's efforts to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education are not just reckless, they are intentional. This is not about improving education, it's about gutting it. It's about implementing Project 2025, a radical plan that will strip away essential protections, eliminate funding, and abandon the 90% of students who rely on public education, including 95% of students with disabilities. This is an attack on our most vulnerable students, children in poverty, students with disabilities, and those in rural areas who depend on federal protections to receive the education they deserve. Without the Elementary and Secondary Education Act and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, millions of students will struggle to achieve. The Department of Education was created to protect student rights in the wake of the Civil Rights Movement. It ensures that all students, regardless of race, gender, ability, or income, receive a quality education. Dismantling it would erase decades of progress and widen inequities in our schools. So let's talk about what's at stake. If Trump's administration succeeds, we will see larger class sizes and fewer resources for public schools, a rollback of rights and supports for students with disabilities, less access to college for low-income students, and cuts to after-school and summer programs that keep students engaged in learning, among other things. Here in Oceanside Unified, we receive approximately $5.5 million in Title I funding, supporting students from low-income families, and $4.3 million through IDEA, ensuring students with disabilities get the resources they need. These funds are essential, not optional. Their loss would have a devastating consequence for our students and our families. Public education is not just about academics. It's about preparing students for the diverse world they will enter. Diversity, equity, and inclusion programs ensure that all students feel seen, heard, and valued, regardless of their race, gender, disability, or background. When we foster inclusive classrooms, we teach critical thinking and empathy. We ensure students see themselves reflected in the curriculum, and we equip students to thrive in a diverse society. The Trump administration's attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion is not about education, it's about control. History is being rewritten not to educate, but to erase. But diversity is our strength. Teaching the truth is not political, it's responsible. The mischaracterization of DEI and its work to celebrate and value our differences is designed to pit the American people against each other and provide a platform for hate and bigotry. But we see this for what it is, a modern-day McCarthyism, a political witch hunt replacing the fear of communism from the 40s and 50s with the fear of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Some argue that advocating for public education is political, but I argue that it's patriotic. Fighting for the American worker is patriotic. Ensuring all students have access to education is patriotic. Teaching factual history is patriotic. Standing against injustice is patriotic. The Trump administration wants to punish schools for fostering inclusive classrooms and for teaching history honestly, and for allowing students to see themselves represented in their own education. But we refuse to let them erase diversity, silence educators, or deprive students of their right to learn and to be themselves as they acquire that knowledge. We will not back down. The ACLU, NEA, and NEA New Hampshire have already filed lawsuits against the Department of Education, arguing that these attacks violate constitutional rights and threaten real programs that serve millions of students. As the lawsuit states, our schools cannot fulfill their role as the nation's nurseries of democracy without teaching students about the world, including the historical and lived experiences of people of different races, genders, and abilities. America has come too far to turn back now. Public education is the foundation of democracy, and we cannot allow it to be dismantled to serve a political agenda that undermines the work that we do for those with the greatest need. The administration wants to create chaos and instill fear of diversity, fear of inclusion, and fear of the truth. But we, the teachers and support staff of Oceanside Unified, will speak up along with educators and school communities across this nation. We will stand up. We will push back, we will hold the line, and we will fight tirelessly for all students and communities. Make no mistake, we are on the right side of history. We are on the right side of defending our democracy. We are stronger together, and collectively we will continue to fight for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all, and we're just getting started. Thanks for listening.
Moving on to the public comment on agendized items. Just a friendly reminder, we have some norms for respectful behavior. We have quite a few people in this room, and we have over 16 public comments at 3 minutes apiece, so it's going to be an hour, so just be ready. I remind you to use respectful language. We do have students in here. Be respectful of all speakers. The board would like to hear each speaker and their 3 minutes, so we try not to make any noise or jeering or cheering because we want to hear what they have to say. Do not cause disruptions and try to adhere to the time limit. You will see the timer up there. I'm going to call 3 people at a time, just so you know who's coming next, just for the sake of time. And then we'll start with the first 3 are CJ, Joseph, and Emily Gonzalez, and they're all speaking on item 6A.
Hello everyone, my name is CJ Malabulu. I am the Community School Coordinator here at Cesar Chavez Middle School. Oceanside Community Schools are proud members of our DEI department. I'd like to use my time to share a little about our community schools work as a part of DEI. One model of our work looks something like this. We find that students experience obstacles to learning. The school community identifies the needs and collaborates to find solutions. Service and resource connections are made, resulting in student benefits. One example of these benefits is access, by way of our Vision to Learn partnership, which provides free glasses to students. 3 years ago, we provided 117 glasses to students at this school alone. We are happy to welcome this partner back on campus this year, and our families are too. An email I received just last week reads, Mr. Mala'ulu, thank you. This would be great for my daughter. She's expressing difficulty seeing the board. We work with PE to make this happen, and our PE teachers had commented on students' hesitation to fully participate in some sports, and that it would make a lot of sense if they ended up needing glasses. So I'd like to show and tell a little bit. I have a mug here with me, and this is my favorite mug, given to me by a mother whose family faces many challenges. Challenges that have impacted her son's attendance. And our department does a lot of work around attendance outreach and also resource connections. Alongside our wonderful attendance clerk, together we would visit this family routinely over many, many months. Long story short, the students started coming back to school. I'll never forget the mom's appreciation when she said, "Thank you for not giving up on my son." If our work enables students to see the whiteboard, play catch with their friends, and reconnect with opportunities of education, that sounds like money well spent, and absolutely worth the time and efforts invested. Thank you.
Joseph Burrow.
Hello and good afternoon to the district board members for the Oceanside Unified School District and members of the public. My name is Joseph Little. I'm 17 years old and a senior currently attending El Camino High School and a lifelong Oceanside resident. You may think I'm just the average senior in high school, but I'm more than just that. I've co-led an effort to reestablish the Youth Commission here in Oceanside. I have met with local politicians to discuss issues that affect us, including Deputy Mayor Eric Joyce and Congressman Mike Levin, among many other projects and initiatives. It is utterly shameful that even one person came here to speak in opposition to DEI. Oceanside is one of the most diverse cities here in North County, given we are a majority minority city. Although you may believe DEI only helps out minorities, that is far from the truth. Multiple studies have shown that the biggest beneficiaries of DEI are white women. However, this trope of unqualified people of color gaining more opportunities than a qualified white male is false. Oceanside's minority population has some of the highest rates of poverty this city has seen. DEI has helped to recognize those in our disadvantaged communities get opportunities they may have never received. It is also important to note that veterans also benefit from DEI as well. It is utterly disgraceful that people in this room came to a board meeting in a military town where the majority of military families have their children attend our schools to talk down DEI, which they benefit from. From our minority to military populations, DEI has been there to support them in OUSD, and I applaud the district's wholehearted support of its DEI programs. DEI programs have helped to create a more inclusive learning environment by addressing disparities, supporting unrepresented students, and fostering a culture of belonging for all in OUSD. As a final message to those who are speaking out against the district's support of DEI, don't say that you hate DEI. Let your bigotry and hate be on full display and say with your chest that you hate diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. My name is Emily Gonzalez. I feel really grateful to be following CJ. Is that CJ? Joseph, sorry. Because I'm one of those military families. I'm a parent of a middle schooler in the district, and I'm here with a simple message of thanks and to affirm the commitment of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion in Oceanside Unified School District. My husband recently retired after 27 years as a U.S. Marine. Through multiple deployments, our daughter has always been treated with care and deep understanding of her unique needs as a military kid. The district and school administration, all of her teachers, the counseling staff have always proven themselves to be exceptional in their focus on her well-being, while also supporting her love of learning and academic success. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are being misrepresented across the country and right here in our own district by some folks who, I worry, don't truly understand what the words mean and what the commitment entails. Every student in this district deserves the thoughtful care that our child has received. Our foster youth, our special ed students, our students with disabilities, our English language learners, every student from our beautifully diverse community deserves to feel like they're cared for and that they belong here. Diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts are additive and provide the foundations upon which we can prepare our students for the interconnected global community they stand to inherit. The commitment to DEI, such as exists here at OUSD, should be a model for other districts. May be different from our own, only serve to create a stronger, more resilient community for all of us. Communities are stronger when we create strong networks of care for each other. A sustained commitment to DEI and OUSD helps us achieve that while in no way sacrificing rigor. We're seeing more than enough ill-informed vilification of DEI work in school districts across the country. Board members, Dr. Vitale, Dr. Sparks, our family wanted you to know your work is appreciated and we thank you for it. Our next two speakers are Benika Kressler, Rachel Parentis, sorry you guys, and Michael Richardson.
Hello everyone, I'm Benika Kressler. I'm a parent here in Oceanside School District. My son attends Pablo Talk Elementary. And I'm here to speak just on behalf of our family, new to Oceanside, and being disheartened to hear that this is up for debate about getting rid of DEI here. I enrolled my child into the school district because of its diversity, and the notion of getting rid of it is heartbreaking to say the least, and very reactive. It's reactionary. I believe that we see that the president's motives and the way that he has been making decisions is irrational, and that if we follow along in those footsteps, then we will be on the wrong side of history here. So I think it's very important that we understand as educators that that this is something that is divisive, and that, as everyone has said, that it is really pitting people against each other. And it's going to be unfortunate if I'm going to have to move my son somewhere else because he can't stand on the right side of history. Thank you very much.
Good evening, board members. My name is Rachel, and I'm a proud special education teacher at Nichols Leadership Academy. My purpose in speaking here is to offer support for our DEI department. However, we have more work to do, and it requires all of us. Special education is giving each child the tools that they need to be successful, regardless of ability. Special educators work to create equity and allow all individuals to be included and belong in any and every space. In essence, DEI and special education are the same. You can't have one without the other. If you remove people with disabilities from a campus, you are removing a key piece of diversity. If you remove DEI from our schools and communities, you are extinguishing the rights of people with disabilities. The core principles of DEI acknowledge that every student receives academic, social, and emotional support that is necessary to thrive, and that we acknowledge that diversity strengthens our learning communities. I have seen the benefits of valuing these core principles of DEI. Through inclusion and our staff at Nichols being grounded in the belief that every student is a general education student first, and that they should be engaged in that general education environment, student outcomes have begun to improve both academically and socially. One example that I have among many is that a student in my class who went from spending most of his day in a self-contained classroom and not saying much of a word to anyone to giving presentations in the general ed class, making his first friend, and excitedly sharing that with everyone, to being able to go to 5th grade camp independently. Widening his school community through core instruction in general education and giving him access to support from peers over adults allowed him to reach his full potential and have a sense of belonging. Research suggests that only 50% of middle schoolers and high schoolers with a significant disability have a close friend. Friends are powerful. They build confidence, they lower depression, and they help us reach our goals.
That same research also suggests that if students do not make a friend by high school, they are unlikely to do so for the rest of their lives. This means that if we're not intentional about creating spaces of inclusion and belonging through DEI, over half of our students will leave our schools without a friend. We don't want this to be true. We can't stop our DEI initiatives. Instead, we need to increase them. It's a call to action. DEI principles are not optional, and time is of the essence. We need to create spaces where every student can feel known, loved, and become who they're meant to be. Thank you.
Well, you can see that I'm outnumbered here. And I just want to start off by saying that I'm not against diversity, equality, and inclusion. I'm in favor of those things. I'm just against making it the number one goal of education. Education is for educating. I asked if they could put the agenda item up on the board. I guess they can. But if you were to look at your agendas, if you look at the detail, if you go down under goals, you will see that there is one there that I greatly admire. It says advance. The goal is to advance academic achievement so all students graduate prepared for college and career. If you notice, it's numbered number 1. But somebody didn't like it being at the top. They moved it to the bottom of the list. I know that they can count. So it seems that this was a sort of a Freudian slip, I think. They really wanted to be subordinate and below the importance of those other things. My attitude is that if you do an excellent job of teaching, kids will feel great about themselves and they won't have to have anybody help them feel good. They'll feel good just by being excellent. So my position is that we should close down the DEI department, send Dr. Sparks to a classroom. He's obviously very intelligent. He's very educated. I assume he has a doctorate in education, and that he should be able to educate. And that would be the most productive thing we can do to raise our test scores and actually get back to teaching. We should stop treating the symptom, all these bad feelings, and treat the cause, which is a lack of attention to actually teaching. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Our next speakers are Ruby Castro, Rosanna Martinez, and Steve Sly. Start with Ruby. I have you speaking up at 6:80.
Good evening, school board members, Superintendent Vitale, cabinet members, colleagues, and community members. Thank you for making space for my voice tonight. My name is Ruby Castro, and I'm a proud elementary school counselor at Pablo Top, the best school ever, a strong mother, and a loud system disruptor. I am incredibly proud to be in a school district that not only values diversity, equity, and inclusion, but actively practices it alongside a strong commitment to the community schools approach. This work is not just about education, it's about justice. It's about interrupting a system that has historically been designed to oppress people. It's our goal to turn this into a system that truly serves students, families, and communities. By prioritizing diversity, equity, and inclusion, we are challenging inequities, amplifying marginalized voices, and ensuring that every student, regardless of race, income, or background, has access to the opportunities they deserve. Through the community schools model, we're breaking down barriers, strengthening partnerships, and addressing the whole child's needs, because we know that thriving students come from thriving communities. This work isn't always easy, but it's necessary. And I'm so proud to be a part of a district that is not afraid to do what is right, to dismantle the old systems that harm and create something better, something just, something truly intentionally transformative. I encourage all of us to continue the fight, even when it gets hard, and even if we're the only ones doing it. We cannot and we will not stop. Thank you.
Good evening, OUSD Board of Education trustees and OUSD district leaders. I am here tonight to express my unwavering support and the vital work of OUSD Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department and Community Schools. The DI department plays a critical role in ensuring that all students and families feel valued, seen, and supported in our schools. My journey with OUSD began as a first-generation, non-English speaking kindergarten student at Mission Elementary. I attended Jefferson Middle School and graduated from Oceanside High. As a first-generation Latina, navigating the school system on my own was challenging. I love that my parents trusted me and were confident in me making educational decisions for myself. I was also lucky to have educators that believed in me to pursue higher education. I share this personal experience to highlight a reality that students and families in our community continue to face. This is an experience shared by families who struggle to find a sense of belonging in schools systems that are not designed with them in mind. I want to highlight that in 2021, the OUSD Board of Education made a historic commitment to transforming the most deserving school communities through the community school strategy. Since then, a dedicated team of community school coordinators have worked towards creating the conditions necessary for students and family success. Our work is grounded in building authentic relationships, engaging in deep listening, and providing critical supports to students as they navigate their educational journeys. As a community school coordinator, we authentically partner with students, families to improve student outcomes. We work collaboratively to remove barriers, foster trust, and ensure families feel welcome and empowered to engage in their child's education. When families are seen as partners, students thrive. When students see themselves reflected in their schools, they succeed. The work we do is not just about providing resources, it is about transforming school communities into places where all students and families feel valued, heard, and supported. I'm honored to serve OUSD as a community school coordinator. It is a privilege to stand alongside students, families, educators working together to elevate voices and ensure the stories are heard. Every day I witness the strength, resilience, and determination of our youth and families as they navigate challenges and strive for a better future. Together we can continue to share one another's stories of empowerment and love. These stories remind us why this work matters and fuel our collective commitment to create an inclusive and supportive environments. By fostering deep connections and building bridges between schools and communities, we create spaces where every student has the opportunity to thrive. Thank you.
Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Stephen Sly, he, him. I'm a teacher at Oceanside High School. I felt compelled to speak this evening, kind of in light of what's going on nationally with our politics. And I just want to say, to echo some of the things that I've already heard, I'm very proud to be an employee in OUSD in a place that values diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's strange to me to think that people in places don't value those things, because if you think about what the opposites of those are, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Our community is very diverse. San Diego in general and Oceanside is very diverse. It makes sense that our schools and our workplaces represent the community. The school board is diverse. You know, we have people of all creeds, colors, religions, everything. It's really important. So I've been trying to think about what I wanted to say. A lot of it's already been said tonight from my colleagues who I work with in the district, fellow teachers, counselors. But really what this all boils down to for me is I am proud that I work for an institution that is standing up to honestly tyrannical governments trying to, just waylay everything that we've made, all the progress we've made as a society, essentially to appease white supremacists. And it's really sad that that is the way we are going. So I'm very, very happy that I work for a district that is standing against that. And is standing up for people who are from historically disadvantaged communities. It's important. Together we're stronger, together we're better, together we can do things that we can't do when we're separated. So that's essentially my message. I'm very proud of this district. Keep standing up. I really hope that more people who look like me start to speak out and start using their privilege that they were born into to say the things that need to be said. I know it can be scary. I'm a little scared right now. But we have to speak truth. We have to speak power to truth. We have to do that. I have never had to feel the things that some of my colleagues have felt. And that's my privilege. I need to use that to help make things better for everyone. And that's what this district is trying to do. I fully appreciate the work that our DEI programs, our DEI department does. And I look forward to working and continuing to help support those programs, to support my students, and to support the staff who work in Oceanside Unified. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Our next speakers are Alejandra Garcia, Rosie Higuera, and Patty Page.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Alejandra Garcia, and I am the School Community Coordinator for Pablo Tlac School of the Arts. I'm here today to express my support for the district's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, DEI department, and to share the positive impact that it has had on our school community. Thanks to the DEI programs, Pablo Tlac School of the Arts has become a true community school. These initiatives have brought a vast array of enrichment programs that benefit not only our students, but also our families. Through partnerships with organizations like Feeding San Diego, Mano a Mano, and PIQUE, the Parent Institute for Quality Education, we are able to offer basic needs and workshops that empower our parents and caregivers with the tools they need to better support their children's success. These programs will create opportunities for parents to engage in their children's education in meaningful ways, fostering a stronger connection between home and school. The workshops in particular will provide valuable resources that can help parents navigate challenges, improve communication, and ensure their students' academic growth. By bridging the gap between school and home, the DEI department is helping to create an environment where families feel supported and involved, ultimately contributing to the overall success of our students. I am proud of the work that we are doing at Pablo Tlac School of the Arts, and I look forward to seeing the continued growth and positive impact of the DEI program in our community. In closing, I want to share a quote from late Representative John Lewis, who once said, "Never ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble." The work of the DEI department is about making that necessary trouble, challenging the status quo, ensuring every voice is heard, and creating spaces where all students and families can thrive. The positive changes we see at our district's beloved community are a direct result of these efforts, and I am proud to stand alongside this board in supporting continued progress. Let's keep making the noise that brings about the positive change our community deserves. Thank you for the work you do. We really appreciate you.
Rosie, I have you speaking on item 5L and P.
Actually, 5P and 5J.
You have P and J, okay. Yes. Just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Thank you. Yes, so the modular bathrooms for Pablo talk. So I'm very concerned. I understand that there are sanitary pads and tampons in the boys' bathroom all the way to elementary school. So that is a concern for me. I saw for myself here at Cesar Chavez in the boys' bathroom. I walked in there myself and took pictures, and I was shocked to find that that was the case. So this is setting up a really dangerous environment for our girls. We need to follow Title IX. You guys all took the constitutional oath of office to follow the law. That is Title IX, to separate biological boys from girls in bathrooms and sports. I hope that you are on the right side of history protecting girls, because that is a very dangerous situation where we're setting them up for bullying, harassment, and even assault. And I know that that has happened where a trans individual went into a girl's bathroom in Virginia and a young girl was raped. And this started the whole movement of parents coming to school boards. So I want for you all to stand up for girls, so that you are not sued, so that you don't lose millions and millions of dollars in funding. Also, 5J, negotiating with the Oceanside Teachers Association for student learning outcomes. I would love it if that money would go towards student learning outcomes, reading, writing, math, and not towards administrative salaries. They are overbloated, and since Dr. Julie Vitale has been in leadership, our learning outcomes have actually tanked. So it'd be really wonderful if that money could go to student learning outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie. Patty? Yes, I have Patty K. No worries.
Congratulations, good evening, school board. Congratulations, Julie, for rounding up the troops I got to hand it to you tonight. And I wasn't planning on speaking. Oh yes. I can excuse the young people here and the people who are not old Oceansiders, because otherwise they don't know the history. But I can't excuse you because on the board you are adults. You should know the history. That we in Oceanside survived very well. Willie Buchanan, as an example, who you didn't go to the other night, he was awarded, he was a black man that went through Oceanside High School without $1 million Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I think that these young people and the taxpayers would just assume that $1 million in salaries go into the classroom and equally. Yes. Okay. Also, Tiffany Ortega, I think it's also patriotic to raise grades, not just salaries of your teachers. And reassure your fearless leader, Randy Weingartner, that Trump is not abolishing education as she so intelligently interpreted that executive order. He's not abolishing the money. He's not abolishing education. Guess what? He's giving it back to the states. And in California, it's going to end up in the same position. Anyway, as far as number C, approval of conference attendance to Coast in April, it said the staff recommended that the board approve this. What staff, who? And the registration fee is $800 per person times 2 is $1,600. For transparency, would you kindly tell us what the difference from the $6,000 allotted when there's only $1,600 in registration fees? That's an agenda item, and you're getting up, sir. Where is the remainder of the 6,000 going? Hotel rooms are a couple hundred, yes? Steph?
We're not answering your question, you're making a public comment, so finish.
No, it's on the agenda. It is on the agenda for transparency for the people. Okay. And also coast to coast, there's nothing on this that talks about classroom or education. It's all the other stuff. The second one is the out-of-state conference, community schools. 7 people are sent at $800 registration fee for a total of 5,600 fees. And yet there are $17,000 allotted.
All right, your time is up. All right, we have 4 more speakers, so I'm going to follow in the order. So we have Nate, and I don't want to say your last name right. Nate Alcom, sorry about that. Emily Wishman, Carrie Targetta, and Jira Romosanta.
My name is Nate Alcorn, and I am a pastor in town at a Christian church. I'm also the director of a nonprofit organization called Unite North County. And over the last 3 years, we've invested over $400,000 in partnership with your school district. I don't know if you're aware of that. We have partnered with Jordy and the team, also principals at 2 high schools, Oceanside High School, in building a student wellness center for students. And we're almost done completing the one at Camino High School. It's taken us a little bit longer, but we're just about there. And so we just love the work that you do in supporting all students. Every student matters, especially the ones that are overlooked. People from different backgrounds that are overlooked. In your department, come alongside, you see them, you value them, and you're helping all students thrive. One of the other hats I wear is I'm the co-founder and board president of a nonprofit organization called Alabaster Jar Project, and we do long-term housing and wraparound services for survivors of trafficking. We have a home in Escondido and a resource center there, and so I'm very aware of that population and how they are affected. And according to research, the Polaris Project, also supported by Fox News, that students who are LGBTQ are 3 to 7 times more likely to be trafficked. And so I think it is so vital that we know these students, we see these students, we support them, and our schools are a safe place for all students to thrive. Thank you.
Emily, I have you speaking on numerous general consent items and 6A. Is that right?
Correct, yes. There's 8 change orders for Pablo Talk. I hope the board are well aware and you think that they need to be done by August when school starts again. 5HH, general fund money for facilities. I think that should go to the classroom or teachers' raises and not for facilities. So maybe double check on that board. 6, presentations, DEI. It's not new to OUSD. Some of you old timers know, as Patty said. I said the values and programs have been here for decades, have been throughout OUSD, as many have voiced today. Now, I'll be sending a letter to you that you're breaking the Brown Act if you receive presentations with your agenda and the public is not. So we'll be seeing about that. 5C and D, Washington, D.C., $6,000 plus. Minnesota, $17,500 plus. This district seems to be doing well with belonging and social and emotional learning, but for some reason it's not connecting with academics. You are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars with academics and millions of dollars in the last 7 years for surveys, consultants, trips to East Coast, West Coast. Oceanside is not Chicago. Oceanside is not Minnesota. It's not D.C. We are Southern California. We are San Diego County. Do you want to know how to make a successful academics SEL school district? The California Department of Education highlighted 4 school districts who excelled in academics and SEL. One of them was Fallbrook Elementary. They used counselors, social workers, behavior technicians, instructional coaches, math teaching specialists, etc., and used their community school dollars, not for trips, but for in the classroom. They were also highlighted in the LA Times and the San Diego Union. Fallbrook was the only district in the San Diego County to post significant gains in both English and math scores from last year. Fallbrook's student population mirrors Oceanside in most areas. DC is 2,278 miles away. Minnesota, 1,959 miles. Chicago, 1,773 miles. Fallbrook is only 20 miles away. What makes common sense to have a tried-and-true program that you can learn from 20 miles away, or a culturally different, unproven programs thousands of miles away? I want money for the classrooms, for traveling all over U.S. I want money for teachers' raises. You've been struggling to get these results since Superintendent Vitale came 7 years ago. You are a school board that does not know how to prioritize your goals and evaluate the superintendent for the public office you were elected to. So I ask you to look into consideration that we've got it here. We've got a means to make our kids learn better and our teachers to thrive, giving them the tools, giving them the counselors, giving them the specialists that they need in the classroom, not Minnesota, not Chicago, not DEI as a department of $1 million plus. So I want to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Our next speaker is Carrie Rosetta.
Okay, so my name is Carrie Rosetta, and I'm a proud queer educator. And I just wanted to take a few minutes to actually thank OUSD, right? To thank the Lord, to thank you all for the work that you do. I know we don't do that very often, and I'm sure sometime in the future I'll be standing up here with some pretty fiery words for you, but it's not tonight. So as some people have mentioned before, different things, like when there's an autistic student in my class and he comes with that one-on-one aid so he can get the support he needs, right? That's DEI. When students can join clubs like Black Student Union and Polynesian Club and the GSA and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, right? That's DEI, so they can feel welcome, so they can feel included and accepted, so that they can get to the academic part, right? That is DEI. When students in my classroom recently were using racial slurs and saying, oh, it's just a joke, right? The district was able to send somebody in to invite students into a conversation to create understanding so that we could get back to learning. That is DEI. And about 2 years ago, when someone here used their public comment to publicly out me, you called me, you asked me if I was okay, you asked me if you could do anything. That is DEI. Thank you, OUSD.
Good evening, school board members, Superintendent Vitale, cabinet members, colleagues, and community members. I am an elementary school counselor, daughter of immigrants, and a first-generation college graduate. I am also here as a witness to the transformative power of diversity, equity, and inclusion in our schools. For too long, many have operated under the illusion of a level playing field, but the truth, we see it every single day, is that our students enter our classrooms with vastly different starting points. Some carry the weight of systemic barriers, others the burden of societal prejudice, and still others the invisible wounds of feeling unseen and unheard. DEI, we aren't buzzwords. It's the bedrock of a just and effective education. It's the understanding that recognizing and celebrating our differences is unifying. It is the commitment to dismantling the structures that perpetuate inequity and ensuring that every student, regardless of their race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, ability, or socioeconomic status, has the opportunity to thrive and be successful. I've witnessed the profound and impact the diversity, equity, and inclusion department has in action when students see themselves reflected in their curriculum, when they learn about the contributions of diverse communities, when they feel safe to express their authentic selves, they flourish. They become more engaged, more resilient, and more empathetic, and have an increase in feelings of belonging in school. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, is about basic human dignity. It's about honoring the inherent worth of every single individual. It's about creating a school community where everyone feels where they belong and has a chance to build a future where every student has the opportunity to succeed regardless of their background. I'd like to thank you all for your commitment to students in the face of hate. I imagine it's not easy to listen to people month after month, year after year, who have hate in their hearts, threaten violence against you,
and spread misinformation about the work that is being done in our schools to support all students. So again, let's not shy away from the difficult conversations. Let us not be afraid to challenge the status quo. Let us continue to embrace the power of diversity, equity, and inclusion to transform our schools and create a more equitable and inclusive future for all of our students. Let us continue to provide the tools, the training, and the support necessary to ensure diversity, equity, and inclusion is not just a policy, but a lived reality in every classroom. Thank you.
Agendized items. We're moving on to item 5, general consent items. I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Do we have any questions? Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say that as we look at diversity in the room itself, if you turn around and you look at this room as a whole, how diverse this community that came to get these schools within here that are doing everything they possibly can to get these kids to that next step, to get them to be proud of who they are, to be successful in everything and anything that they do once they leave here. So to unite, to NAEP, to TC, to our SROs, to our custodians, to our teachers, to everybody, to our parents, to our aunties, our grandmas, everybody that's out there that works to do everything to support that student, thank you. And thank you to Jordan to continue to grow this community to be what it needs to be, so that we can continue to support these students to be successful when they leave here.
General consent items, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to item 6A, we're going to have a presentation. We are not voting on this item, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Sparks.
When students feel safe, affirmed, and included, they take risks in learning, persist through challenges, and succeed. Contrary to claims of school failure, our award-winning district data tells a different story. Shared last meeting from Dr. Loving and team, we have increased dual enrollment and AP course participation, steady reading and math growth beyond a single test score, a nearly 5% rise in elementary reading proficiency, and secondary students earning C's or better compared to last year, and more students graduating career and college ready each year. In fact, OUSD is the only unified district in San Diego County to improve year-over-year graduation rates, and we're above the overall county average graduation. Our metrics and measurements for student success are as numerous and diverse as the student population we serve, and we understand that one data point cannot capture the overall achievement of students in OUSD. We have much to be proud of. Thank you, President of the Board, Dr. Begin, members of the Board, Superintendent Dr. Vitale, district leadership, colleagues, and community. This evening, we'll explore how diversity, equity, and inclusion intersect with student support services in our district. While recent challenges to DEI have emerged, the positive impact remains undeniable. This presentation will highlight what we achieve when we create conditions for success and belonging, demonstrating how our efforts in environments where teaching and learning thrive, all are welcomed, and everyone is loved. Our vision is clear: to ensure that every student graduates college and career ready, prepared to be responsible global citizens and future leaders. Our graduate profile portrait guides us in cultivating adaptable, self-aware, and socially responsible students. Achieving this requires an inclusive and equitable system, strong culture, and strong partnerships, all embedded in our equity and student supports efforts. In approaching our responsibilities, we consider what is equal and what is equitable. To truly support all students, we must differentiate between equality and equity. While equality provides the same resources or opportunities for everyone, equity considers pre-existing barriers and tailors support accordingly.
This intentional approach ensures that students who face systemic challenges like marginalized youth receive the additional resources they need to thrive. We work across teams to create a beloved community where students feel known, valued, and supported. Key practices include personal connections, such as knowing students' names, stories, and needs, ensuring that the diverse lived experiences and perspectives of our community is included in the content, curriculum, and choices that we make each day, high expectations with high support, and restorative justice, which means teaching accountability while building social-emotional skills. We recognize that students cannot succeed academically if they are struggling emotionally. Our comprehensive mental health and well-being ecosystem has over 50 school counselors and school psychologists, more than Fallbrook, community partnerships, providing intervention and parent coaching, safety personnel, mentors, and restorative justice coaches. The data shows that when we support students holistically, their attendance improves, engagement increases, and academic performance rises. Investing in mental health is investing in student success. Achieving this vision and truly living out our values of equity, opportunity, and belonging is not something we do alone. It takes intentional partners who walk alongside us in supporting student academic success and social-emotional growth and their overall well-being. Through these partnerships, we expand access to mentorship, mental health resources, and wraparound support. Our DEI lead learners, of which there is at least one per site, and some of whose work will be highlighted this evening, have committed to working alongside our district team to support positive learning environments. In Oceanside, we know that students thrive when they are seen, supported, and connected, and that's exactly what Transformational Consultants, whom we call TC, provides. With full-time mentors for students, their impact includes over 1,000 restorative contacts, nearly 600 students engaged in mentorship groups, over 300 restorative resets, more than 200 students receiving essential basic needs. This work isn't about just immediate support, it's about long-term impact. Research tells us that students with consistent mentors show improved academic outcomes, better emotional well-being, and reduced behavioral issues. They build the skills and confidence to succeed not just in school but in life. TC is helping change the paths of students' lives, ensuring that they have the support they need to graduate, thrive, and get back to their communities. I'm happy also to highlight the powerful impact of one of our mental health partners, Palomar Family Counseling Services, and their critical role of connection and belonging in our schools. At the intersection of their work, they're not just addressing challenges, they're fostering environments where every student is seen, valued, and empowered to prioritize their mental health. Palomar Family Counseling Services supports students and families through direct mental health intervention, and their work includes 14 therapists, 12 trainees, and 5 clinical supervisors. 77% of students completing 5 or more sessions with them saw significant improvement, and 82% of students reported better mental health function. In OUSD, we also recognize that students learn when they feel supported, safe, and emotionally well. That's why our partnership with Wellness Together has been critical in ensuring our students have the mental health resources they need. Wellness Together's team of mental health specialists help students navigate stress, responsibilities, and life's challenges, and the impact is clear. From August to December 2024, there were over 2,600 student support interactions, and 84.3% of students are currently receiving services. Wellness Together knows that any number above 80 is significant. 858 interventions, including individual and group counseling, family engagement, and crisis response, have helped students find stability. More than 1,800 consultations and referrals ensured families and school staff were connected to essential services, and through 1,300 live check-ins, more than 500 outreach contacts, students had ongoing access to someone that they could truly, someone who would truly listen to them and care. Mental health support is not just an add-on in OUSD, it's a necessary foundation for student success. When students have access to these services, they feel safer, more affirmed, and more included in their school communities. Another critical partnership that underscores our district's commitment to equity, student well-being, and access to mental health care is with Care Solace. Care Solace is a 24/7 care concierge that helps families navigate mental health care access. This year alone, they facilitated 6,800 communications, 90 cases open, and 48 have confirmed mental health appointments just so far this year. As I mentioned, mentorship has a powerful impact. Students with mentors are 55% more likely to attend college. Our Pass AmeriCorps partnership at Laurel, Liberty, Mission, and our middle and high schools plays a vital role in supporting students across OUSD. This year, 13 AmeriCorps members have dedicated over 17,800 service hours across 10 school sites, providing mentoring, academic support, and essential services. So far, nearly 400 students have benefited from the program. Each enrolled student received an average of 33 hours of mentoring, driving improvement, yes, in academics, attendance, and behavior. Ensuring student success goes beyond the classroom. It starts at home. That's why our partnership with Parent Guidance through the Cook Center for Human Connection is so vital. This collaboration provides our families with accessible, expert-led mental health resources designed to support students by first supporting their parents and caregivers. Through this partnership, families have access to individualized parent coaching. This is on demand, it's live, it's at no cost and no insurance. Mental health seminars on difficult parenting challenges, and a wealth of online resources led by licensed mental health professionals. Whether it's navigating anxiety, managing school-related issues, or fostering resilience, parents and guardians are equipped with the tools to be strong advocates for their children's well-being. Parent Guidance Impact this year shows 114 registered, impacting 228 students. Ask a Therapist live sessions each month for direct parent support, and on average, there's a 4.74 out of 5 average session rating. As we've seen, our partnerships play a critical role in providing wraparound support that our students and families need to thrive. Whether through mental health services, restorative practices, or community engagement, these collaborations help lay a strong foundation for student success. And partnerships alone are not enough. To create lasting change, we must also ensure that our programming and policies actively support student well-being and belonging. This means having clear, intentional policies that promote positive school climates, hold students accountable by keeping them connected, and remove barriers to success. Over the course of the year, our team has adopted, revised, and updated over 25 policies. Strong school board policy development is essential for effective decision-making and equitable practices and accountability. In recent policy development, our team has been supported by you all and the district leadership to adopt and update policies that impact more vulnerable populations, such as those students who are part of the LGBTQ+ community and those students who are part of the immigrant community or come from families where there is mixed status. Policies that explicitly support such students are especially critical in today's environment. With recent executive orders and legislative actions aimed at restricting rights for these groups, school districts have an ethical and legal responsibility to ensure that all students feel safe, valued, and supported. Schools must remain places where every student, regardless of their identity or immigration status, can thrive. And to share some additional highlights regarding our students who are foster and or transitional, here's Maisha Wiggum, our coordinator of DEI and Student Supports.
So thank you, Jordy. I just wanted to take a brief moment to highlight our work that we're doing to support our youth that are foster and transitional. And I want to tell you all that we are all in when it comes to supporting our most valuable, vulnerable students. No matter what challenges come their way, our team, social workers, community school coordinators, school community advisors, community school coordinators, our foster liaisons, and our incredible community partners are making sure that they have everything they need to thrive. So thanks to our partnerships with the North County Assistance League, over 290 students have received clothing and essential resources because feeling good and having what you need makes a difference in the classroom. We also stepped up our transportation support, fulfilling 26 requests this year alone to keep students connected to school. And our listening circles have continued to provide safe spaces where families and students can share, be heard, and know that they matter. Next slide. I also want to highlight an amazing partnership we have with the FACE program. That's Fostering Academic Success and Education, and they are here, our partners in the room. This partnership has been a game changer. We have a dedicated social worker that has made a measurable difference in student success. We're seeing real academic growth, GPA improvements, credit accumulation, and notably, no suspensions among our FACE-supported students. So that tells us that our intervention strategies are working. We're not just focusing on academics, we're strengthening our partnerships with organizations like the Oceanside Navigation Center, and we're working hard to expand our FACE program into the next school year. So, like Jordy said, these wraparound services make sure our families get support beyond the classroom, making sure that they get their housing, mental health resources, and more. So now I'll be the first one to say that progress like this doesn't always show up immediately in our traditional data. But when you take a step back and you look at the bigger picture, you see the positive engagement, you see growth, and most importantly, you see students who feel seen and heard. And I'll turn it back to Jordy.
Thank you, Maisha. Ensuring that every student has access to education, no matter their circumstances, is a fundamental pillar of our district's commitment to equity and inclusion. For students facing significant medical challenges, whether due to chronic illness, injury, or mental health needs, traditional classroom learning may not be possible. This is where home hospital instruction becomes a vital bridge, ensuring that these students remain connected to their education and their school community. For 60+ students served across 15 schools who are facing medical challenges, home hospital instruction provides continuity and connection. Providing access to learning opportunities regardless of a student's physical or mental health embodies the heart of our mission to foster a supportive, inclusive environment where all students thrive. Our district's 4 school social workers serve as mental health professionals, bridging students, families, and support systems to ensure that every child has the opportunity to thrive. Over the past year, they have received 290 referrals, with 148 for mental health and social emotional needs, 75 for attendance concerns, and 14 supporting McKinney-Vento students facing housing instability. Beyond the referrals, their work includes nearly 400 group counseling sessions, almost 300 individual sessions, 140 student check-ins, and 100 caregiver contacts, strengthening home-school connections. More than 80 home visits have helped re-engage students in their education. Programs like Show Up and Shine and Campus Connection Days foster welcoming and inclusive environments, while compassionate attendance interventions ensure that students stay engaged. We have 6 MSW interns who provide 600 hours of direct service, expanding our reach. This work is critical for vulnerable populations, including McKinney-Vento youth, foster youth, LGBTQ+ students, and pregnant and parenting teens. The impact of school social workers extends beyond data. It's in the trust built with the families and the trauma-informed restorative approach that empowers students. Some impact stories: a student with a history of trauma and inconsistent attendance tripled their school attendance after home visits, therapy, and some encouragement. Now they have a clear plan to become a firefighter. One father was struggling to get his son to school after moving to Baja, California, reached out for help. A home visit, a school tour, and a peer connection transformed the student's experience, and they now attend regularly. These stories underscore the power of connection and advocacy and belief in every student's potential. Don't ask me, just ask Marie, who's our social worker of the year in the county. Through restorative practices, we are creating a school environment where accountability and connection go hand in hand, ensuring that discipline strengthens rather than disrupts learning. Under previous boards, OUSD had historically high out-of-school suspension rates, disproportionately affecting students of color and those with disabilities. However, today, we've reduced out-of-school suspensions by over 50% year over year. At the same time, we've expanded alternatives to suspension, which helps students stay engaged in their education while still being held accountable. As seen in this graph, alternative approaches, orange, are increasing, while suspensions in the blue are decreasing in a month-to-month comparison over 3 years. This shift is not just about reducing suspension numbers. When students remain connected to school through supportive interventions, they are more likely to succeed academically, develop essential life skills, and contribute positively to their community. The impact of our restorative justice coaches through our our partnership with the National Conflict Resolution Center is integral to this shift. This year, the coaches have led 125 classroom presentations reaching over 3,700 students and conducted 18 assemblies across 6 school sites, engaging 1,381 students and 50 staff members. These efforts help combat biased language, encourage respect, and promote inclusion. And additionally, 494 student mediators have been trained, enabling peers to resolve conflicts and support each other. Circles of support and accountability have helped 109 students provide an ongoing space for reflection and growth. Restorative justice is more than just an alternative to traditional discipline. It's a proactive approach that fosters accountability and community. This year, restorative conferences engaged 30 students, 22 staff members, 13 parents, guiding them in conversations about responsibility and repair. We've also provided professional development to 161 educators and individualized coaching staff to 85 staff, strengthening restorative approaches in classrooms. Through classroom circles and the New Duty Supervisor Spotlight Project, we are expanding restorative practices beyond discipline, fostering connection, social-emotional learning, and accountability. Student feedback and positive stories from parents, teachers, and students confirm that our restorative justice practices isn't just changing discipline, it's actually changing lives. Lastly, our Restorative Reset program, led by Mr. James Donnelly, has proven to be a vital tool in supporting student growth and accountability. It allows students to make amends, engage in restorative conversations, and stay connected to school, which is crucial since suspended students are more likely to fall behind academically and drop out. Through this program, we've seen 269 students so far and engaged 79% of their families in this process. Nearly 90% of the students who participated in Restorative Reset said that when they're faced with a similar challenge, they now know what to do instead next time. While there is more work to be done, we are proud of the positive feedback like the one that the student speaks about here.
Even thinking about joining the football team, I think some students and just like get like that little push, because I feel like that's like what I just needed.
Under the leadership of lead coordinator Rosanna Martinez, whom you've heard from, along with 6 community school coordinators, the community school strategy focuses on the pillars of integrated student supports, expanded enrichment, and learning time, active family and community engagement, and also collaborative leadership. The impact of this work is evident. Last year, more than 6,000 students and families received access to critical basic needs right on campus. Food distribution, care kits, wellness packs, and hygiene supplies were made available, removing barriers that often stand in the way of student success. There have been more than 30,000 opportunities to engage in extended learning opportunities during the school day, after school, and summer programs, including summer camp experiences at Agua Hacienda, where students explored nature and science, and schoolyard rap sessions across secondary campuses, where students celebrated their identities and cultures through music and storytelling. Parents and caregivers are given a voice in decision-making, and last year, over 166 individuals participated in community-based workshops, and even more joined community school leadership team meetings. Our community school wellness centers are more than just a physical space. They're student-focused hubs dedicated to the social, emotional, and overall well-being of students. Nearly every school in our district provides these supports, whether through elementary school counselor classrooms, partnerships with organizations like Unite North County, or the 6 dedicated wellness centers at our community schools. These spaces offer mentoring, peer-to-peer support, and enrichment opportunities, ensuring that students have the resources they need to thrive both academically and personally. Recently, we partnered with the American Friends Service Committee to host Know and Defend Your Rights sessions, equipping students and families with critical knowledge, particularly around immigration rights. More than just an on-campus resource, wellness centers serve as a bridge between students, families, and the community, fostering connections that support student success beyond the classroom. Our commitment to student well-being extends beyond programming and partnerships, and it includes ensuring that every student feels physically safe and emotionally safe on our campuses. A safe school environment allows students to focus on learning, engage with their peers, and develop a sense of belonging. That's why our district has prioritized a comprehensive approach to campus safety and security. We have strengthened staff training and professional development, equipping security teams, site leaders, and all staff with de-escalation strategies and anti-bullying interventions. By embedding these practices across campuses, we're ensuring that our staff are prepared to support students in times of crisis and everyday interactions. We've strengthened our policies and support programs to reinforce school safety, like updating cell phone use, anti-bullying, and e-bike safety policies, promoting a structured learning environment, while our progressive discipline matrix ensures fairness and consistency. District-wide anti-bullying and drug prevention assemblies equip students with tools to navigate challenges and enhance threat assessment protocols with mobile crisis response teams. That's enabled us for early intervention to keep students connected. Beyond policies and training, we've improved emergency preparedness with updated procedures, radio systems, and first aid responses. Partnerships with E-Bike Safety Project and the SD Coalition on Human Trafficking have expanded student safety beyond campus, while Lightspeed technology and campus safety plans help proactively address security concerns. Creating safe schools isn't just about preventing harm, it's about fostering a culture where every student feels protected, valued, and empowered. Through strong partnerships, thoughtful policies, and intentional programming, we've built a foundation for student success and belonging. But how do we know this is making a difference? We measure our impact through student outcomes, like attendance, engagement, and academic success. Let's look at how our focus on safe, affirming, and inclusive schools is translated into real, measurable outcomes for students. We know regular attendance is a key to a student's success. Missing school might seem like a small issue, but those absences quickly add up. For example, missing just 2 days a month can result in a student missing 20 days over the course of the year. That's 90 hours of critical learning, math, reading, and writing that the student falls behind on. This all doubles if a student misses just 4 days a month. We've greatly emphasized student connection and belonging this year because we know that when students show up to places, they want to show up to places where they are celebrated, not just tolerated. Here's an example of some of our soap and sign events. Can you play on that one? Mackenzie?
What I like about this event is that you're supporting, you're motivating kids to come to school more and more, and help their education grow and succeed in life.
This is what the Show Up and Shine event is all about, celebrating and encouraging school attendance at all OUSD elementary schools.
It was super awesome. It was incredible. And it had my favorite song.
Shimmering outfits, our OUSD staff was all set to inspire students to kick off their day with joy, energy, and a readiness to learn.
The kids walked the red carpet. All our families.
And that's your host at USD.
When students are in school, they have more opportunities to engage, build relationships, and connect with their learning community. Over the past 4 years, we have made remarkable progress in improving attendance and reducing chronic absenteeism, proof that our collective efforts are making a real impact. In 21-22, our yearly attendance average was 64.2%, but through intentional programming, student supports, and family engagement, we've seen that number climb year to year, now reaching 82% this year. At the same time, we have significantly reduced chronic absenteeism from 35.8% in 21-22 to just 18% this year. That means fewer students are missing large portions of the school year, and more students are consistently present and engaged. Behind these numbers are real stories, students who were once disconnected but are now thriving because of targeted interventions, mentorship, and a strong sense of belonging we built across our schools. Understanding students' experiences is key to ensuring that they feel valued and connected. That's why we conduct a panoramic SEL survey twice a year to hear directly from students about their well-being, relationships, and sense of belonging. The results show positive growth. 72% of elementary students report strong self-management, 65% feel confident in their social awareness, and secondary students show a 6-point increase in belonging. Teacher-student relationships remain strong, and 55% of students feel supported by adults at their school, a historic 25-point increase from the last year's survey. The data isn't just numbers, it reflects real student experience experiences. By listening to them, we gain critical insight to strengthen our schools as safe, inclusive, and affirming environments where every student belongs. In closing, regardless of the rhetoric, we need not fear the principles and practices that create environments where students can feel safe, affirmed, and included. Practices that enable us to remove mindsets that minimize possibility, interrogate practices, policies, and precedents that limit opportunities, and break barriers that create hardships for students and families. In these environments, students succeed. While work remains, students at OUSD are succeeding, and I implore us, not only in my professional role, but also as a proud public school and OUSD parent myself, to remain steadfastly committed to taking actions to ensure that every person, no matter who they are, gets what they need to be successful. Thank you.
Colleagues, do you guys have any questions, comments?
No questions, I just have a comment. I want to thank the DEI department leading these efforts, because I think it's so important that we focus on the whole child and that we remove barriers to student learning. Like, we see so many students who, if we just pay attention and listen to them and connect with them, they have so much potential that we can't tap into unless there's people reaching out to them and identifying their needs. So I really appreciate all the work that our district is doing to ensure that, whether it's mental health, whether it's classes, whether it's getting kids that new pair of shoes to start the school year, like just even the amount of confidence that can build this for a student who maybe has never had that opportunity to shop for their own clothing. I actually had the opportunity to volunteer at the JCPenney event, and the excitement that the kids had to shop for their own clothes for the first time, getting to pick out their outfits, getting to pick out their backpacks, you can just see the impact that it can, positive impact it can make. So, I really hope that we continue pushing this work and removing barriers for students, because it does connect directly to student achievement and outcomes. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the presentation. That was very thorough. We're going to move on with our agenda to personnel. Item 7, Dr. Micah's here. I'm going to turn this over to you because it looks like you have a few things.
Thank you, President Begin and board members. Item 7A for consideration satisfies the California Commission on Teaching Credentials requirement for HR to report estimated openings. However, we're not held to these estimates.
I'll make a motion to approve. First and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving item 7A, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to 7B.
Okay, 7B is approve resolution to decrease number of classified employees due to the discontinuation of a program. This has to do with the reduction of the preschool program. Not to be confused, we still will continue with the preschool program for students with special needs. This is the general education preschool program, which now overlaps with transition kindergarten, the same age group, and the state has put funding forward for transition kindergarten. So this item is to eliminate the preschool piece, which affects a number of our classified employees, but I want to assure the board that these will just be reassignments. There will be no layoffs for any of these employees. We'll be able to find other work.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Yeah, I have a second. Go ahead. Question?
I just have a question regarding C. So, as we're removing the preschool, sorry, removing the preschool program itself, what happens now to the local?
So this one is those same students that are 4 years old will be enrolled in our TK program instead of the preschool program. Is that your question?
Yeah, so what is our TK age now? Sorry, because I know that it changes and it's changing again this year.
Thank you so much. So as we've been exploring our TK program, which we've had for over 10 years, we expanded the age range that students are able to come to transitional kindergarten. So in 25-26, every 4-year-old is eligible for TK, along with childcare afterwards through our ELOP program. Traditionally, in our district and across the state, our state-funded preschool supported 3- and 4-year-olds. But those students were only students who qualified through income. With the universal TK, every 4-year-old who lives in our district can access a high-quality transitional kindergarten program. So with intentionality, we know that over time, most of our students who are in our state preschool were 4 years old already. And in looking carefully at all the students who are currently enrolled in our state preschool right now, all except for one will be able to enter into a full-day transitional kindergarten. For the one student who is not age eligible, we are working with our community partners to find them a place that is no cost to them through one of our community partners.
How many students do we actually have in preschool at this time?
63.
So now we're going to make our TK classes that much bigger?
No, these will be new classrooms and we'll end up having more students. On average in TK, of course there were some classes that were a little bit higher, but it was 21 students in every TK classroom for this year with 2 adults in the classroom.
And the 2 adults being an aide and a teacher?
Yes, that's correct.
I just feel like we're going to lose some. I don't know that, because at 3 years old, like really putting a 3-year-old with a 5-year-old?
No, it'll only be 4-year-olds who will be in TK. So 3-year-olds, so I've gone.
I'm sorry, 3-year-olds, because we had 3-year-olds, right, is what you're saying?
One.
We had only one 3-year-old.
That's correct. Because the way that state preschool's funding went is we prioritized 4-year-olds. So throughout our time with state preschool, we've always had about 75 to 80%. Most of our students, I don't know that number exactly, but I do know it's a far greater number of 4-year-olds than 3-year-olds that were in state preschool.
Thank you. All right, I have a first and a second on that one. I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving item 7B, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to item 7C.
Great, similar to the previous one, this item has to do with a resolution to decrease number of preschool teachers due to the discontinuation of the program. This would affect 8 preschool teachers. We've met with each of the teachers to develop a transition plan. Some of the employees are pursuing credentials to be able to teach in the TK or other general subject matters. Some will be looking at either working in a newly created position for TK intervention, and we're also offering paraprofessional openings as well. So we're working with each individual employee on their individual needs to find a new position for them.
Thank you. All right. I'll make the motion to approve item 7C. Do I have a second? First and second. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving item 7C, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Moving on. We have items 7D, E, and F, and they're all revised class specifications. We can probably take all 3 of these together.
Yes, Dr. Begin, that would work. Beautifully, these class specifications are part of a 4-year cycle. We're in the last year of a 4-year cycle this year. So we're happy to be able to get this work done that reflects the current work that's being performed and some small language changes in the job descriptions. We include our employees through surveying their work. We provide focus group time and a final review opportunity for all our employees to have input on these changes.
Move approval.
First and second. I have a question. Once you go through this revised class specification and we add things to the job description, right? You're updating job descriptions. Do they get a raise? Do they move up on the salary schedule?
So for these ones, these are specifically class specifications that have to do with job descriptions that are updated. There's no change in pay for these 3. This is just to accurately capture the work that's being performed.
All right, we'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving items 7D, E, and F together, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on for 7G.
So for 7G, this is a approval for a revised class specifications for the human resources job family, human resources technicians. This also has to do with an updating of job descriptions, but does include a reclassification for salary reallocation that has to do with compensation through a study in the county to determine an increase and also a gradual increase in the duties of the work performed.
I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second. First and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving item 7G, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to item 7H and I. Those are, we could probably roll those in together as well.
Right, so similar, we've done job analyses for management positions and found that with county average comparisons, our payroll manager and benefits manager are below salary comps. This would increase pay from range 11 to range 14 for these two positions.
I'll make a motion to approve items 7H and I. Do I have a second?
Second.
First and second. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving items 7H and I, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's it. Okay. Motion carries. Moving on to 7J.
All right, approval proposal for the reopener by the Oceanside Unified School District to negotiate with the Oceanside Teachers Association for 25-26. This is our sunshine letter to open negotiations and begin that process with our bargaining units.
I'll second. Do we have any questions? All right, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving item 7J, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to 7K.
So similar to the previous one, this proposal is the reopener for OUSD to negotiate with the California School Employees Association, CSCA Chapter 370.
Move approval.
Second. And first and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, call for the vote. All in favor of approving item 7K, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to 7L.
All right, and this is an informational item, so this is the receipt of the sunshine proposal from ODA.
Move approval.
Second. Make a motion to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries for L and now you're going to do N, right? Can we do them separate? Okay.
And finally, M is our reopener with the CSCA group, Chapter 370 for negotiations. We've received our sunshine letter to begin negotiations, and with board approval of all this, our bargaining teams have scheduled time and meetings coming up this month as we begin to try to get a full steam start on negotiations with our goal of having things ready for next school year.
That's ambitious. All right, all in favor of approving item, I'll make a motion to approve 7. Second, all right. I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving item 7M, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. You've been busy. All right, moving on to 8, business. I'll turn it over to Dr. Norman.
Thank you, Dr. Begin. I'm pleased to share the second interim budget report for the 24-25 school year. Next slide, please. Here we have the budget cycle and reporting. We're on the 3rd blue bubble. This graphic represents the budget cycle, and we are in the second interim, which is March. Next slide. Today we're going to be discussing changes in revenue and expenditures, the multi-year projections, continued fiscal solvency, and also looking at changes in COLA. Originally going into 24-25, COLA was going to be 0.76. It ended up being 1.07. For 25-26, it started off at 2.93, then went down to 2.43, and then 26-27, we were at 3.08 and went up to 3.52. And you'll see that when you look at our assumptions as we go into the second interim MYPs. Next slide. Here we have changes in revenue. Our funding sources are listed, then the amount and the summary of change. For the LCFF, we saw an increase due to the state changing the amount for TK88 from 392 to 415, so that was an increase. Federal funds increased due to the district receiving this year's final allocation of federal title grant money. For state, this funding decreased due to the district removing restricted revenue from the budget because it would not be spent during this year. However, they will be spent in the next fiscal year. And our local revenue increased due to interest and Medi-Cal funding. Next slide. Now we have changes in expenses. Certificated and classified salaries increased due to additional hours for staff. Benefits, the cost of benefit adjustments to employees' health and welfare plans went down by 2.3. Books and supplies decreased to reflect the expenses through the second interim as well as the expected expenses through the remainder of the year. For services and operating expenses, it decreased to reflect the expenses through the second interim as well as expected expenses for services and projects that will continue through the remainder of the year. And capital outlay and other outgoes also decreased to reflect actual expenses and expected costs for the remaining projects for the year. Next slide, the 24-25 budget comparison. So here we look at the difference between the budget at first interim and the budget at second interim and the differences we have there. Here we have the revenues increased overall by $2.8 million. Our expenses decreased from the original budget as the district continues to align its expenditures to match its revenue sources. The beginning fund balance increased slightly after the district made adjustments following our year-end financial audit. And the ending fund balance increased by $16 million as the district reduced budgets to align with current staffing and project needs for the remainder of the year. The reserve for economic uncertainty decreased just over $402,000. The 3% reserve is calculated from our total expenditures. Since the expenditures were less than previously estimated, the 3% reserve also decreased. Next slide. Here we have the multi-year projection. Projections are not predictions, they are assumptions based on today's information and are expected to change as various factors change. Next slide. Here we have our assumption slide. I've explained this before, like ingredients when you bake a cake. These are ingredients for baking your budget. So in 24-25, we show the COLA and then how it changes from year to year. So you'll see your revenue change in relation to your COLA. Then we have our declining enrollment. This year we've been estimating at 470. As we move into March, this is the time that we look at our enrollment projections, and that could change as we go into creating the budget for next year. We have our 88%. That's how we're funded. It typically was at 94% pre-COVID. Now it's down to 91%. That has a huge impact on the dollars that districts receive. We do estimate decreases in staffing, not through layoffs, but through natural attrition as we have people move in and out of our organization, as well with decrease in classified staffing. Health and welfare, we do an estimated 6% when we do a budget. Increases in utilities, 5%, and then step and column increases are always part of the budget as well, at 1.5%. Next slide, please.
Dr. Norman, question on that one. So for the decrease in staffing, so that means that if 20 staff members leave, we won't be replacing those?
We typically don't. Yeah, that's what we estimate because we have 470 students typically leave.
So it seems.
Yeah. Thank you. So here we have our multi-year fund balances. Revenues fluctuate from year to year based on LCFF assumptions, restricted funds, and grants. The amount we receive based on the LCFF calculations determined by ADA and predictions of enrollment. The changes in COLA will also impact the LCFF funding. Revenue from our several one-time grants will be decreasing over the next 2 years as these grants come to a close, and we see a decline in revenue over the next 2 years for these reasons. Expenses at this time, the district's expenses outpace revenue in all 3 years of the NYP. In 25-26, expenses are expected to increase as the district spends down the remainder of funds available in one-time grants such as art, music, and instructional materials and educator effectiveness. So what also can be confusing with this is your expenses look really big sometimes because you could have rolled over existing revenue. That existing revenue doesn't go back up into the revenue. You can't have revenue twice. So your expenses will look larger, but it's because you brought money forward into the next budget, and that's why your expenses are so much bigger. It's not like a checkbook. It's a little bit different. will continue to maximize its grant funding as it is available to purchase curriculum and fund support personnel. The district will continue to strategically plan maintenance projects and equip purchases in order to maximize our funding sources. And the net change in fund balance shows deficit spending taking place over the next 3 years, which we will continue to address. Our beginning fund balance drops in 25-26 and 26-27 each year due to this deficit spending. And our ending fund balance consists of the 3% reserve for economic uncertainty, restricted funds, non-spendables, and any other fund above 3% that has either been assigned or committed. Next slide. Here we have our actions to ensure continued fiscal solvency. We'll align certificated and classified staffing with projected enrollment, maximize the use of one-time funds. We do have the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant that will be spent down this year. The Arts, Music, and Instructional Block Grant will continue. Through next year, we do have Educator Effectiveness. There are other grants that are out on the horizon which are not currently in the budget. And we will prioritize district projects and continue to incorporate updated revenue and expenditures as they become available for current and multi-year projections. And that's the end of the presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Norman. Any comments from my board colleagues? I'm excited for the balanced budget.
We do have another positive budget.
Yes.
Yeah, so with all the layoffs happening in some of the districts, I did have a question about the books and supplies that we, it went down $11 million. Is the, how is that money, so is that supposed to be spent, like, just each school site is not spending it, or, why did it increase so much?
Typically when we have books and supplies, that was centralized costs that were budgeted. And so either we decided not to budget for this year, or budget for next year, or we didn't need to make those expenditures this year. So when we create the budget, we create it based on what we expect we're going to need to see. But what we do each interim is we decrease it as we see that we're not going to need it. That way, as we head into negotiations, we have real numbers so that we don't keep it in there. We want to make sure we're taking it out so that we know how much we actually have.
So that's the district money that's spent on the supplies, not school?
Schools do get books and supplies money also. School sites do too, but most of the large items stay with the district centrally.
Anybody else? All right, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving the second interim financial report, say aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on to policy development, 9A.
Yes, good evening. This is a policy to reflect current California law protecting students' rights to recess at 15 minutes on a minimum day and 30 minutes on a regular day. We recommend approval of this new board policy to reflect updates in state law.
I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? We have a first and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving item 9A, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to public comment on non-agenda items. Mrs. Gibbons, how many people do we have now?
We have 16.
16. All right. We're going to take a 10-minute restroom break and then we'll get started. Do you want to, you're going to be calling out the names? Okay. Can you please set the timer for 10 minutes and we'll be right back. Alrighty, I'll turn it over to Mrs. Gibbons to go ahead. Public comment, just a quick reminder, some of you may have just walked in. This is public comment on non-agenda items. Individual speakers will be allowed 3 minutes total to address the board. You see the time up on there. Please adhere to our norms.
Okay, our first three speakers will be Kara Osborne, Carrie Fox, Sue LeClaire. Brother Kara is here. What about Sue? Okay.
Good evening. Well, it was sort of an agenda item, but I added some stuff. My name is Sue. I'm a staff member at the Oceanside Adult Transition Program, and I want to thank the district for continuing to acknowledge that our students come from various backgrounds and abilities, even though they no longer want us to call it diversity. I appreciate the district continues to commit to meeting our students' needs in a way that will help them succeed, even though we're no longer supposed to call it equity. I also appreciate the district wants all of our students to feel welcome and a part of the OUSD community, even though we're no longer supposed to call it inclusion. I find it utterly ridiculous that the government considers these goals so bad that they're threatening to withhold funds because of them. But please, continue reaching for these goals. There's so many battles ahead. I'm very concerned with the dismantling of the Department of Education. Our students have multiple federal grants that help them succeed in life and become more independent. I'm worried we're going to lose this funding. We're going to need everybody here to fight for our students and for the funding that they deserve. And there's so much more work to do in meeting all the goals that everyone talked about tonight, and we have not achieved them. But I want to encourage everyone on the board, everyone in this room, call your senator, call your congresspeople, talk to your government, let them know that our students, especially our students with disabilities, need funding. We need everybody to fight for them, and keep fighting. Our students are worth it. Thank you.
Anthony Seha, John Liedel, and James Donnelly.
Thank you for allowing me some time just to express to you my thanks. My name is Anthony Seha. I was working at the County Office of Education for 26 years. I just retired in July, and I've worked with many of your colleagues that are now retired. But I wanted to say that I've had the privilege to go to many, we have 42 school districts in this county, but I've also partnered with Los Angeles County, Orange County, Kern County. And I have to tell you what I saw presented today by Dr. Sparks and the whole DEI department. I was like, that is really the most comprehensively well put together program that I've ever seen in all the schools that I've gone to. And so, because I remember, coming here and asking principals, hey, what do you need? What do you need? And I even remember when Todd was a principal, and and they needed staff, and they needed people to help those kids that were really struggling. And I've always admired that Oceanside, all the staff that I've dealt with, Oceanside has always had a heart to help those kids, to not leave them behind. And that's how, we started like gang prevention work back in the day, and then it became mentoring, and we had the Pass AmeriCorps came out of that, and we brought in some people with lived experience to intervene with kids that were kind of like getting involved in gangs. And then we brought in restorative practices, and Oceanside really embraced that, and we had a lot of trainings. And thank you, Dr. Sparks, for hosting a lot of those trainings, at the district. And I know that there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of pushback on a lot of things. But I just want to say, in all the schools that I've seen, and I've seen many, you all have been so supportive and created something of such a high model that it just blows away most districts, okay? So just know that. Yeah, and I just had the privilege of going to these places. So thank you for all you're doing. Thank you, Dr. Sparks, and everybody involved in DEI and all that you're doing to help our kids. I just really appreciate you, and that's all all I wanted to say.
Good evening, my name is John Leal and I represent Play Sports. We are a community school partner and I'm here tonight to share how the Oceanside Unified Community Schools Framework has allowed us to make a meaningful difference in the lives of students. We're dedicated to enriching the school day through structured play and athletic skill development. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak tonight about my experience working with the OUSD and their community schools. Our primary focus within OUSD has been to enhance their lunch recess and after-school offerings. We've worked to add structure and purpose to playtime, promoting positive behavior, increased student autonomy, and the development of athletic skills. We believe that every child deserves access to engaging and meaningful play, and we work hard to provide that through our programs. We aim to empower students to create and enforce their own rules, fostering confidence that translates to both the playground and the classroom. We have conducted after-school programs, but our primary focus within the community schools has been our recess play programs. This focus has allowed us to see a real change in the schools that we partner with. We began our journey at Mission Elementary and Jefferson Middle School last year, and this year we've expanded to Libby Elementary and Pablo Talk School of Arts. This growth is a testament to the effectiveness of our programs and the support of the community schools team. One of the most rewarding aspects of our work is the connection that we have with the students. One story that always sticks out in my mind is it was our second year coming back to Mission Elementary, and we were meeting with Chantel, and we had our instructors there. We were doing a quick little tour of the school, and the kids were at lunch, and all of them immediately saw our instructors, and they treated them like celebrities. They rushed to them, and they were yelling their names, greeted them with hugs and high fives. The work of the community school coordinators has been amazing. They have been there to help support my staff, providing all the tools to offer successful programs tailored to each school's specific needs. They have been tremendous in helping our programs grow within this school district. The time and effort that the community school coordinators put in is so obvious, and they care about their students and they know their students. This partnership with OUSD Community Schools has been invaluable to Play Sports and to the students of the Oceanside community. We've been able to create a positive and lasting impact on students, and we're excited to continue growing and serving this community. Thank you for your time and your commitment to the students of Oceanside Unified. Thank you.
James Donnelly.
Greetings, esteemed school board members, administrators, colleagues, parents, and caregivers, and community members. My name is James Donnelly, and I'm the coordinating teacher for Oceanside School District's Restorative Reset Program. I want to publicly share how much of an honor it is to work under Dr. Sparks, Ms. Wiggum, and the incredible team of highly skilled and hardworking professionals they created. The work of these professionals help to provide access, resources, and opportunity to learn for all students. I'm particularly proud to be a part of OUSD's Restorative Reset Program. We provide time and space for students to process the impact of their choices and actions on themselves and others. We partner with parents and caregivers and our team to help students learn to make positive choices. Students learn to stay in class, navigate complex social interactions, avoid conflicts, and improve their academic success. Out of 303 students who attended our program so far this year, 83% did not return for a second time, 98% did not return for a third time. Out of 359 student referrals last year, only 60 have attended our program this year. Here are some comments from our administrators and students. One administrator wrote, "Students generally return after restorative reset with an improved ability to reflect upon their decision-making and express a desire to make different decisions in the future." Another wrote, "Both students and families who return from the restorative reset have expressed gratitude and growth after attending the program. Students who are sent to restorative reset continue to take responsibility for their actions and rarely make repeated offenses. Restorative resets communication with families, show in spades when families join during the reentry process and express how supported they felt during the process. Here are a few student replies when asked, what are one or two things that you will take away from this program? That I have potential, also that I need to be more respectful, that I should be myself and stop letting others influence me, to take a different stance on life, and to think of my family and respect them. I will think about positive outcomes, including consequences, before doing anything that I shouldn't do at school and anywhere else. Thank you, Oceanside School Board, administrators, colleagues, parents, and caregivers for the opportunity to serve our students in this wonderful community.
Next three speakers, Lorraine, Donald, and then Emily.
Hi, everybody. My name is Marie Yashikoti. I'm the team parent at Surfside High School, and also the child development teacher at Surfside High School. And I wanted to say no on the closure of the state preschool program. These are much needed preschool education for 3-year-olds and those families that would not be able to afford preschool. Also, the 8 preschool teachers will be off jobs. And I was told by HR that one of the state preschool teachers with more seniority will be taking over my position at Surfside Child Development Center as a teen parent program. And I feel that we're 2 different programs.
goes up and beyond. I employ 30, 40 people. I would not have a better employee than her. So for somebody just to like box her in as just a preschool teacher, one of 8, I feel is ridiculous. And I know that there's so many dedicated teachers like that out there, but I think she's unique. I think she's special, and that's why I'm here. Tomorrow's her birthday, and you know what? I came to speak on behalf of her because that's my birthday present to her. And that's all I got to say.
If you board members would have gone to the preschool or to the mom and teen program, you would have seen her. You would have seen what she does. Do you think a pre-K teacher wants to deal with babies and girls? No, Noreen does. Some of the programs there are all about Noreen. She's the one that established them. And if you have gone yearly or twice a year to that program, you would see. The first time I went there was maybe 30 years ago, and I thought, oh, here we go, Team Mom and the babies, whatever. I was aghast to know how well it was done, how these women treated these babies, treated their mothers like they were their own, and the teachings and the training that they give to these moms and dads were phenomenal. So whatever you can do, and I would have been hoped that you would have given that recommendation to your superintendent before this all came forward. This could have been way late. This could have been done somehow else. And Kit Noreen and her little group that deals with babies. How many teachers here want to deal with babies? No, they want to deal with children. Also, too, Tony or Anthony was saying about the programs that were here in Oceanside. Mike knows a lot of them that were here. And they were way before DEI. Way before DEI. Dr. Sparks did a great job in putting it all together, putting all the things, all the pieces together. The DEI bubble, it was great. You did a great job putting this all into perspective, giving numbers, which I was wanting that data for a long, long time. So some of that data I can add, whatever. But it was a good job. But when you look at that and pick it apart, this district, as Mike knows, has had a lot of that. We've had the whole child since the 80s and 90s. That's when it all started. Not just 2000, not just DEI all of a sudden came and we're doing this for kids. And a lot of teachers that have retired, they know they were there for the kids. They know who they were. They did all these things that the TC was here way before Sparks and Vitaly was here, and they were doing that way before anybody else really acknowledged them for all that they've done. So again, grateful for his PowerPoint and for this bubble, but it's not, if it happens to burst, things are going to stay there, and as board members, you need to make sure that they stay there in the same attitude and same mentality, and the monies that you're going to get or not get will be used for our students in those situations. Last but not least is ethnic studies. Eleanor isn't here to say I was on the committee. Well, lo and behold, this changed again. So you need to not have this as a graduation requirement for our kids. San Diego said no, it's going to be elective because it's still up in the air. Now they've got a new law that they want to put through. There's a lot of issues on there. There's a 31 legislatures from the Jewish caucus. They've got some things going. They've got a lot of things going up and down. So you need to just keep it as an elective for our kids, and not as a graduation requirement because they're not solid yet. There's no more monies coming from that, and it hasn't been any monies. Thank you.
Patty Kay, Christine Fuentes, and Rosie Garrett.
Thank you. Just a few things to catch up. And one thing that I've asked for before is that you allow the attendance, the people in attendance to come up and have a report like you do your union, your board, your superintendent, and your union that goes on and on and on. If you would put us on the agenda, we might be able to make more sense when we weren't time limited, where we just do sound bites. Number 2 is I told Mr. Sparks how wonderful it was to reduce the absenteeism, and I think that's definitely a good thing. I don't know why it hasn't been done before. Number 3, I saw in one of the PowerPoints, in one of the agenda items about the attendance, I believe, somewhere. I didn't see it tonight, maybe I was looking different direction. I believe it was down to 14,000 something, and that is, at peak, I believe there were 22,000 in the district. Was that possible? 24,000? Then it went down to 18,000. Since I've been here, it was 16,000, 15,000, now down to 14,000. And I'll tell you why it's going to drop more. More and more people, we keep saying, more and more people are pulling their children out homeschooling or sending them to private schools, and there are reasons for that. The other thing that I really wanted to mention was, I don't know how diverse the district really is. If you have after-school programs that you actually pay someone to run at several different schools, and yet you're trying to charge $6,000 for a year for a Bible club to come in and occupy 1 hour a week. And the previous 2 years, there was no charge. And now there's a $6,000 charge that it questions the reason that all of a sudden you're doing that against a Christian club. And I'd like a response on that, please, from somebody. I know it won't be here, but I would like, you have my email, and I'd like to know why. Thank you.
Christine? Okay, Rose.
All right, so I heard a lot of people talk about DEI that came up, a lot of teachers. Tiffany Ortega, president of the Teachers Association. You say that DEI is progress. Progress to force girls to be vulnerable to bullying, harassment, and assault by confused boys who can't compete in men's sports and want to be peeping toms in very decent bathrooms. It's not progress, Tiffany, to use our hard-earned money to purchase porn and expose and teach perverted filth that wars against God, traditional marriage, purity, and innocence. We've been trying for the past 4 years to get the porn out of the school libraries and get the grades up. 2 very basic things which you board under Vitaly's leadership cannot do. Questions all of your motives for being on the board and working with children. It's not progress, Tiffany, to sexualize kids with sexual perversion taught by LGBT director Max Dispositi and Planned Parenthood. It's not progress to teach innocent kids to hate their country and their skin color or neighbors. You're not victims, people. Stop using DEI and CRT and racism and the color of your skin. It should have nothing to do with learning. It's not progress to introduce delusional genders that don't exist and trans kids behind their parents' back. In the beginning, God created man and woman. It's not up for debate or politicalization. It's not loving to affirm a lie or allow a child whose brain isn't fully formed to allow them to believe they were born in the wrong body, or allow them to chop off perfectly healthy body parts. I hear all this about restorative justice. It's CRT at its finest, Jordy. Even one of your teachers came up and said he's going to use his white privilege to help other people. Why are we victims? We're not victims. God gave us power to be wherever we wanted to be through working hard and responsibility. No one is a victim here. No one. And we shouldn't be teaching kids to hate their skin color or to look at their neighbor differently because maybe they're in a different group or different race or born in a different neighborhood. It doesn't matter. Kids are kids. We need to protect their innocence, and we need to teach them reading, writing, math, the Constitution, love of our country, love of our neighbor. We need to get back to the 10 Commandments because we have strayed so far from that. We're teaching all of these ideologies that have no place in school. You guys have all taken a constitutional oath. Please uphold it and protect our kids.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Noah, Vera, Patrick, Vieira, Maria, Oshana, and the last speaker will be Steve Denton.
The students deserve better. They deserve better than what they've been given with this board. You have a budget of tens of millions of dollars, spending over $10,000 per student, and yet half of our kids are economically disadvantaged. And 80% of that are minorities who need more than photo ops and feel-good programs. They need rigorous education. However, they are not going to get that from teachers and administrators that are stretched thin by Marxism. What they need is a board that fights for them, not a board that fights for its own interests and agendas. Equity is not a buzzword that you get to place on grants and programs. Equity is making sure that every student in Oceanside gets the resources, gets the opportunities to succeed, not just the students that fit your own narrative. If you have the time to meet with the parents that elected you for these positions, then you also have time to meet with the ones that disagree with you as well. Parents are not your enemies, they are your partners. And these students are not your data points or experiments, they are our legacy and our future. So at the end of the day, if you won't stand up for these students, the parents will. However, with that, the next thing that will be coming your way won't be a pay raise. It's going to be a huge loss of funding and a shattered reputation. So board, I leave you with this. How do each and every single one of you want to be remembered? Thank you.
Great that you're bringing kids back into the schools, but we're not fooled. You know, the reason you do that is because you want the funding. So here's an idea. Bring them back into the schools and teach them reading, writing, arithmetic, and math. The U.S. Department of Education has set a Friday deadline for K through 12 schools to eliminate race-specific programming, DEI, or face potential federal funding cuts. In a February 14th letter, the U.S. Department of Education told all K through 12 school districts and higher education institutions to end the use of race or DEI in administrations, hiring, promotions, administrative support, that's Max Dispositi, by the way, and all other aspects of student academics, and all other aspects. It laid out a new federal anti-discrimination enforcement policy threatening to pull federal dollars from schools that do not fall in line. Sounds like you guys aren't going to. Federal government funds, so your guys' budget is about $133 billion. The state or the federal government funds between 10 and 20% of that. That's called $21 billion. So you're going to keep this man employed and take that money away from our kids. So that sounds, kosher for you, for this group here. Let me remind you of your report card. Okay, district-wide student academics proficiency in reading 41%. That's district-wide. District-wide, only 29% are proficient in math. The average graduation rate is 84%. That's 16% don't graduate. That's almost 1 in 5 kids. You closed down 4 schools in the district since coming on board, Vitaly. You won't listen to parents who still have porn in the libraries. And you continue to employ this man here and his crony. Here's your grade, board, okay? You get a big F. You failed. All of you have failed. And your citizenship is U for unsatisfactory. That's an FU for all of you. The U.S. Department of Education launched enddei.ed.gov. Let me say that again. The U.S. Department has launched enddei.ed.gov, a public portal for parents, students, teachers, and broader community to submit reports of DEI in publicly funded K-12 schools. For years, parents have been begging schools to focus on teaching their kids practical skills, reading, writing, math, what it's intended to, the U.S. Constitution, instead of pushing critical theory, growth, sex education, diverse ideology, but their concerns have been brushed off, mocked, shut down entirely. Let me give you that website again, nddei.ed.gov, and put this man out of business.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Maria. Thank you for being here. It's nice to see you again, Mrs. Alvarez. I'm proudly part of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion in Oceanside Unified School District. A couple things in our department I want to shout out. Lots of great stuff has been said. I do want to shout out Noreen. I have seen her work firsthand. Our pregnant and parenting teams are part of our DEI program, and she is an absolute gem, no doubt about it. Happy birthday tomorrow. I also wanted to let you know that diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's not just the teachers and the counselors and the social workers. We are really a team, and our team has a culture of a beloved community. And that includes some of our team members who are in here still. Laura Vines is part of our team. Ruby Barbara is part of our team. Donna Omori and Adrian Vermillion. These folks are administrative assistants who are often on the front lines and not getting credit for what happens in our department. We get parents who call in, we get parents who walk in at times, and sometimes they're in the worst state. Sometimes it's the worst day that they've experienced, and it might be because they're unhoused, they're about to be unhoused, somebody has lost their job, somebody is sick, all sorts of reasons that make it so that their kid can't access their education. Because if you're hungry, if you're sleeping on the streets, getting into the class to do the reading, writing, and arithmetic that we really want our kids to be doing, it's just not possible. So these folks are on the very front lines, and I see them day in and day out talk to families calmly with love in their hearts, offering them water, offering them snacks that we have in the office, offering them just a calming space. And once they figure out what the need might be, if it's something that they're not immediately able to help with, then they pass it on to one of the other team members of us. So that is what we do in our department from every single person. I don't think anybody ever walks into our office and feels like, oh no, they're not going to help me here, because we're going to help absolutely everybody in whatever way we can. And that is the beloved community that we've created, that we try to spread out to every single school so kids can learn, because that's what we all want. Thank you so much.
Steve, is there Steve? Steve. All right. Well, that concludes our public comments. Our next item is adjournment. We will be adjourning this meeting at 7:58 p.m. Thank you, all of you that showed up tonight and shared your thoughts and views. Travel safe.